So do you want to have more kids? Is that something that's clear in your head? No?
No, I just want my children to come visit.
Right.
You know, I don't have the brothers at my house. I haven't even got my fucking pool yet. You know what I mean?
The sort of immature attitudes, the way that you look back on a lot of the gangbanging stuff, how is the motorcycle world different in that regard? Because you're talking about a lot of stuff that seems like sort of parallels with different lieutenants and people having roles in these organizations. And when I think about a lot of the motorcycle stuff, I think about just a bunch of dudes beefing with each other. I don't know how accurate that is.
Sadly, in the motorcycle world, it's testosterone. You know, to me, MC stands for man's club, not menstrual cramps. Women, that's my, but testosterone and egos, and maybe add a little bit of alcohol or some other additives will fuck a whole night up. If I hit you in your mouth, if I hit you in your mouth and said, what you so pissed about? I hit you with my weak hand. Is that any more disrespectful than my right hand? So you're going to remember that.
Right.
Sadly, where the parallels have come together is the memories, you know, the payback. I can say that I was in a city 6-7 months ago, and a club who I've had a long-standing relationship with saw me standing with a different club, and it was 36 minutes of double dutching, like, who's taking off first? Smarter heads prevail, and we all went home, but it's something in 50 years that's never happened. Just think of the two clubs I'm talking about without saying the names.
Right.
And calmer heads prevail. Did that end a war? No. Here's the difference. When you from a turf, when you from a block, you waking up to say, this is my block. Well, if you in Kansas banging 60s, you know, and I've seen guests that's like, oh, I'm from Hoover, I'm from this. You're actually not. It feels good to the gang, like, you know, I was in Sweden and I had a dude walk up to me, he was like, what's up, cuz? What are you gonna throw a snowball at me? What gangbanging are we gonna do? You know? But you're waking up to rep that. And you really believe, I believed it, but I didn't really give a fuck if you was blood. For me, it was about money. In the motorcycle world, again, it's a dominance, and it's usually about something in the past. I don't like you because you roll with that club. And at my age now, I'm like, brother, I don't have to give you no attention.
Right.
You know?
I mean, that attitude is for people who have nothing.
Yes, and usually if you got a raggedy bitch, she's gonna hate on your woman.
Right.
And if you got a hating ass, window licking ass dude, he's gonna hate on you. And he is gonna do everything in his power to somehow get to you. You know, when I first saw you, I was like, is he a skinhead? Which I'm sure you got that.
Yeah.
Is he this? Because tattoos don't make you tough.
Right.
You go night-night just like anybody else. But you did this alone. You have your crew, you got your cats, but you were the idea of this.
Right.
Anybody that gets into the motorcycle world, you prospect. You know, for me, it was like, man, I'm a big cat. I still had to prospect. I had the motherfuckers that couldn't tie my shoelaces calling me a prospect, and okay, all right, I got you. But at the end of the day, I got into it to ride my bike. Does that mean I still wasn't done with gang life? No, because I don't ever want to consider being in a motorcycle club a gang. When I did the documentary Life of a One Percenter, never in history has a Mongo and a Vago agreed to do an interview with a whole nother club. And they're in my documentary.
Right.
Go to YouTube, it's for free on there now. It's on Netflix, it's on Venmo, Life of a One Percenter. When Rude Ritchie, one of the longest standing Vagos, said, yeah, I know Gorilla. He was the only black member we ever had of the Vagos. For him to validate that, did something for black members of the club Gorilla ended up going to.
Right.
Chosen few, the club I was in. You know how many Vagos were like, we had a nigger in the club?
Right.
You know, that validation was enough for me. But the fact that they agreed to say it on camera, you know what I mean? Now, what change would I like to make? There's a detective out in Arizona, and never in my life did I think I'd be saying this on the air. And this cat approached me. He's head of gang task force. And he says, I know you don't sit down with cops. I've seen your videos. You do not like law enforcement. I don't. The moment you take that oath to say you have more power over me, no. He said, so I said something to him. I said, but you guys are getting this wrong. And he says, well, instead of ignoring me, would you be willing to sit down with me? Same way as that police chief said that Nipsey was going to sit down. And now people are saying, nah, Nipsey never said that. You don't know, he's dead.
Right.
Well, I'm saying it to that detective because he's going to watch this. Of course I'll sit down with you. Because if I can get you to understand when we turn in left, we're actually still going right. We're going the right way. Now, if you catch one dude with some meth on him, then fuck him up. Because we're going to police him too afterwards.
Right.
But I don't like when people call motorcycle clubs gangs.
Right.
If you do some in a gangbuster activity, then hey man, take that. But we didn't get together to do this as a gang.
Right.
You know, if I take a piss on the street, why is my ticket gonna be different than drunk Johnny that goes to UCLA that's pissing on the street? You know, and
But would it even be a possibility for you to be in the motorcycle world without being affiliated with something, or is that just not realistic?
no, I could. I'm a 1%er without a patch. You know, the man makes the patch. Patch don't make the man. You know, the tattoo that's on the back of my neck that says 1%er in California has been on there for years. And if, you know, I now am a nomad for the Rolling Knights, one of the biggest, again, interracial clubs, predominantly Latino, but, you know, we're everywhere now. And when I chose to leave the Chosen Few, that was cute, when I left the Chosen Few, man, it was hard. But I left for reasons that I just couldn't. It's like you being with an ex-girlfriend. She might have been amazing, but when you wake up to her, you just don't want to be around her.
Right.
And I was struggling with it. Like, why do I need to join another club? And I realized I'm just not done being an outlaw. Can I be it without the patch? Yes. But I can make more of a point with a patch. You know, trust me, we get posts from military dude. Y'all are pussies with a patch. Pick up a gun and go shoot some Mexicans. What the fuck does that got to do with? I literally have gotten posts like that. Go down to the border and shoot some Mexicans. What?
That would make you a man?
Right. So you got to think that dude who's at home is either beating his wife or eating some crackers and drinking a beer right then and there because that's about as good as his life gets. You're not in a motorcycle club to be a gangbanger. And gangs didn't start out that way.
But a lot of dudes who get into the motorcycle thing are probably trying to fill that sort of void where they just want to be a part of something. They want protection. They want that feeling of unity that you got when you were younger from the gang thing.
I always say this saying, everybody wants to be a 1%er till it's time to do some 1% of shit.
Yeah.
There's two different kinds. There's some that really believe in this lifestyle. You know, 1%er for me is just, again, I'm 1% away from giving zero fucks. I don't want to go to church with you. I don't want to believe in what you believe in. If I have a patch that says fuck Trump, that's just my belief. Not because I'm a biker. Fuck, if I played tennis, I'd put a fucking Lacoste and then fuck Trump on the bottom.
Is that real controversial in your world? I would imagine there's got to be a lot of Trump love in the motorcycle world.
Because 90% of most bikers are Caucasian.
Right.
And it very blatantly on all my cuts says fuck Trump. But I also say Trump is the best president in the world that's reminded us just how fucked up and how quietly racism has been. You know, but back to those two. There's cats that join gangs because they need that. And there's cats that join motorcycle clubs that need that. When the shit hits the fan, it'll weed itself out. The ones who really, really, you know, when I can sit here and tell you I know a 72-year-old man that's been a Chosen Few for 55 years. He got a crack addiction years ago and was gone on dope for 5 years. He sold everything down to his fucking ankles. You know what he never sold? His motorcycle.
Right.
And when he sobered up, he came right back to the club. And to this day, he's still in it.
Really?
You know? So, yeah, some people need that validation. 95% of the time, you watch anything on YouTube of me, I'm always by myself. I just did a cancer run because I had cancer. And I did shit by myself. And I was saying, yo, you know, that club gonna fuck you up on sight. And all right, as my daddy used to say, if you kill me, just don't eat me because that's weird people shit. Make it a cool story.
That was his quote?
Yeah, that was his quote, verbatim.
I guess I swear by that too. Yeah, don't eat me.
Yeah,
For
no,
sure.
that's you know.
I don't want to die in this creepy ass way. Yeah.
But tell the story. If I knocked out two of your boys, make sure you say, yo, he T-rolled two of our boys.
Right.
But I don't use the patch as validation. I use it as to continue this history, you know. Me going from the Chosen Few to the Rolling Knights, is that click jumping like it was if you went from Rolling 60's to somewhere else? No. It means that it just didn't work with me, because then it would be considered a gang. Once in, one never out, which is bullshit. But it just means I've ran this course as long as I could. So now I'm here helping these guys. And a nomad, I'm not tied to anybody. You know, I'm here to fix things, and that's it.
Yeah. So, okay, that side of you though, is that still something? I mean, I guess I don't even know how to word this, but it's just interesting because you talk about being a loner, and it just feels like people who get into that world are a lot of times doing it, whether it's the gang world or the motorcycle club world, where you get into that world because you want to be part of something. You don't really feel the need to have those people around you like that?
No, I don't. When I leave here, the whole controversy, motorcycle cats or gangs, when I leave here, I'm jumping in my car and I'm driving to Frisco, driving to Pittsburgh, California, actually, to go watch a very, very well-known Mongo graduate because he just got his degree. That's gangster. No, he just likes to ride his bike and he's a Mongo.
Right.
But I'm going to his graduation.
But is that considered weird for you to be friends with people who are in other clubs, or?
No, because again, I'm cool with who's cool with me. If you have an issue with me, do me a huge favor. Always show it.
Right.
Don't be half-assed, because I can't take that bullshit off my hand that you put on there once we shook it. You know what I mean? So for me, does that mean I'm cool with the Mongols? They've always treated me fine, you know what I mean? But he's my dear brother. Shout out to Livewire, who's graduating with a degree. Master electrician. But remember, when he gets pulled over, they don't give a fuck that he's got a son, that he's got a job. They just know he is blah, blah, blah from the Mongols.
Do the cops hate motorcycle shit?
Our fucking guts.
I bet.
Bike Week was 2 months ago, and if you go to my YouTube page, when you got a minute, it'll say, I got pulled over by gang task force. I live in the most suburb, pancake-ass neighborhood you could possibly imagine.
Right.
Why would gang task force just happen to be at the exit?
Right.
The bike thing was 20 miles back the other way.
But they specifically have a problem with you still?
Oh, hate me.
Even though you have kind of a quiet lifestyle at this point?
Because I'm very vocal when it comes to law enforcement.
Right.
You know, when I was out in Ventura County and I had my clubhouse there, I let it be known, you come across those gates, badge or not, we're going to have a problem. You know? You want to get your feelings hurt, play tough guy. You have a 5'2" female cop, fuck your whole day up.
Right.
But stand your ground in what you truly believe in. So my thing was always, I'm never going to lay on the ground. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
So you would go out shooting before you let them put you on the ground, search you?
I don't believe in guns, but I'm going to definitely try to take your chin off if you feel that you're going to mistreat me.
Right.
I understand the law has a job to do. I just don't acknowledge them as the law. That is a true one percenter. But I'm not here to break your law. You know, I have my license, I have my registration, I'm a tax-paying citizen, but I'm not going to let you're going to beat my ass. It's going to happen, you know.
Right.
It's not going to work out for me. But like I said earlier, just tell the story that at least T-wrote a couple of y'all. You know what I mean? It's law enforcement. I'd rather have an overstanding with now, which is interludes differently. I'd rather have an overstanding with them now to say, look, let's sit down where you're getting this wrong.
Right.
Because they just look at one. That's saying that in the 40s, something happened in Hollister, and Harley Davidson said 99% of most motorcycle riders are law-abiding citizens. It's that 1%. That's literally been the story for 60-some years. That's not what 1%er means. It had nothing to do with just Hollister. That's something that happened there, and then they put a beer in a fake dude's hand leaning on a thing and tried to say that was a Hell's Angel. That's not what happened. A 1%er is just somebody that says, look, man, just leave me alone. You know what I mean? Does that mean you're Ruby Ridge, the dude who shoots shit up? No, it just means leave me alone.
Right.
You know? So for me, my lifestyle with law enforcement, do I want it to get better? No, I really don't. I want it to be a better understanding. If you've pulled me over 30 fucking times, could you pass on the 31st? Because could you pass the message that I don't have nothing on me but a bike?
Right.
You know, me having my gun rights back in Arizona, I'm always going to be armed in Arizona. I can whoop 3 dudes' ass. I don't know if I can whoop 5. So somebody's going to have to get an attitude adjustment.
Right.
But I'm allowed, now that I got my gun rights back, to carry. And I'll tell you what's dope. It was a certain law enforcement that checked for me. He didn't have to do that for me. He could have lied to me.
Check if you had the right to hold the firearm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Because how long did you have that you didn't have the right to have a gun?
Oh, fuck. I caught the case in 92. Well, I caught a case before then.
This is the murder case that you're talking about in
manslaughter
92.
case, yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit about what happened?
You know, I beat it to death, but I was selling dope downtown L.A., and it was a cat that was breaking into people's cars, and big boy, you know, they called him Engine Joe, big motherfucker. He's actually Latino. And
Selling dope for you at the time was just posting up in an apartment and you had people coming through to buy it, or how's...
If you remember the New Jack City, I'm not glamorizing, but I kind of had it like that. The Huntington Motel was owned by a Middle Eastern dude who was also an addict. So I had the whole top floor.
Wow.
And I sold heroin, I sold crack, I sold angel dust, you know. I started doing glass, I started selling glass when people were doing crank. And I couldn't get people to buy glass because they couldn't smell it. So I'd be like, yo, just smoke it. And I whooped on one of his boys real bad a few days before. And I saw him, I get out my car, and I always would keep balloons. You know, your fuse box? I would always keep balloons filled with heroin and angel dust, PCP. One was one color, one was the other. And I get out, and he said, let me get a double, which would have been $40. I took the money. There was a little lobby of this chick who was a prostitute who used to fuck the owner, and she worked the lobby. It was like sodas and Snickers and hot dogs. And I have the money. I see him, but I'm like, why did I just serve this dude? I know he's with the dude I just whooped on. And I go to pay for the Snickers, hand it to her. She can get my change. She's like, what are you, joking? And it was a torn 20. And I definitely knew he was running to go get a pistol, and I caught him before he got to that pistol. And, you know, I don't have a word like unfortunately or sadly, because it was either me or him. And he, you know, basically choked to death.
Right. And the cops just showed up soon after, or
No,
how'd they figure it out?
A guy who owned it, there was a tailor shop. You know, downtown LA is historic.
Yeah.
And there was a tailor shop right next door. Go to the Huntington Motel, 9th and Main. That tailor shop is still there. I think it's ran by the son now, but at that time it was the father, and he saw the whole thing.
Wow.
And I remember having one of the homies check, and he hit me, he was like, yo, he's dead. And true story, I had the clothing store on Crenshaw, Colorblind Clothing, and I started doing fashion, which the magic show in Vegas, and then there's the Spring, which in San Diego.
Streetwear stuff, yeah.
And I had a clothing line called Colorblind Clothing. And the way I got caught, I went and did a fake profile to get a cell phone and fucked up and put my address on there. Intelligent thug. And I knew we were getting private, lived up in Palmdale. Beautiful cul-de-sac, paid cash for the house, all drug money. And I remember I was told we were getting new security. It was like a gated area. And I pull up, and I remember my phone I stopped at Del Taco, and I remember trying to call my wife at the time, and my phone was off. I was like, how the fucking phone? How's it off? So I just buy a bunch of food, and I pull up, and I see this gray car, and I'm thinking, oh, that must be security. And he's, you know, doing the... Not a care in the world. That's how careless you get when you start making money. The clothing store was just a front. And as I'm walking, I hear, Eland. My name's Elon, but he goes, Eland. And I turn. He says, lay on the ground. I'm like, I'm not laying on the ground. I'm not disobeying. And then my garage opens up, and it's every motherfucker from... They came from Burbank.
How long did they have to look for you for?
This went at least a month and a half.
Okay.
And I go inside. My wife was she was pregnant. She was due that day. I just remember it was on the 9th. I don't remember what day, but she was supposed to have the baby around that day.
Right.
And I remember this female cop. If you watch Life After the Penitentiary, and I did a movie called Glass, they actually interviewed the detectives. Lazy Bone plays my brother in the movie. It's on Netflix. It's called Glass. And they interviewed the real detectives that arrested me. Well, when I saw my wife sitting there with her handcuffs behind her back, little Korean. I met my wife here, by the way. I didn't go get her over there. And I remember saying, take the fucking, and this little prick female cop walks towards me, and you shut the fuck up. You don't run down. And I kicked her in the face. Do you know trolls? You feel big and bad for kicking the leg? No, I kicked a cop in the face that had my wife handcuffed. What would you do if your wife was sitting there? You know, and they beat the dog. I woke up and my eye was like, hey, how are you? We're going to be here for a while. You know what I mean? But yeah, I ended up pleading assault with deadly intent. Shout out to Bradley Sandler. If you need a good attorney, hit up Bradley Sandler. He was, he still is, Quick's attorney, Sugar Free's attorney, Nate Dogg's attorney. He worked on the defense team with Snoop, and we fought it for about a year in Burbank court. I'm sorry, Glendale court. And I remember when he said, well, what they're offering is 1 to 15. All I heard was 1. I hadn't done prison time yet. I did jail time.
1 to 15. You don't hear that a lot now.
Manslaughter, it's usually always 1 to 15.
Oh, okay.
I just heard 1.
How the fuck you get off on manslaughter?
It was him or me. It was, you know, and a good lawyer.
Okay.
You know, but I just remember hearing 1. And I was like, all right, fuck it, let's do it. Because all I could remember hearing, I heard the 15, but I just kept thinking 1.
You're such an optimist.
Oh, dear God, you got to think hope the worst, but hope for the best.
Right.
And I didn't have to turn myself in that day. And I remember, you know, because when you have a good lawyer, they gave me 30 days to turn myself in. And I remember calling him. I'm like, yo, that's cool, man. Fuck, 1 year. He goes, no, Kaz. 1 to 15 means you're going to do a minimum of probably 5. They're starting you at 1. It's not a credit, but they're just starting you. And I ended up getting 4 years, 10 months. And if you're ever at the McDonald's on Century and Prairie, it's right there on the corner. Been there for years, cross the street from the horse track. It looks like there's a hotel across the street. It's not. That's a halfway house. I haven't spent the rest of my time there. And
how long were you there?
At the halfway house, 5 months.
Okay.
And then I had a 5-year joint suspension that I violated all the way up until, with the success of Bone Thugs and Harmony and my own success, I still was on somebody's probation or parole till I was 38 years old.
Wow.
So I got out of prison at 28.
What was your prison experience like? Was that your first? That was your first long bit?
Prison, yeah. It sucks ass.
I bet.
You know, it sucks ass. You within a week you have a taste in your mouth that you just can't get rid of.
A taste.
It's just like aluminum type, like, because it's tunneled in fake air. It's not even air conditioning.
Right.
It's like a swamp cooler. So you just have this taste, this dry taste in your mouth at all times. I just remember I couldn't wait, because I had to learn. I had to learn the process. I couldn't wait to get, I think I got transferred. First I went from the county, then to Wayside, then from Wayside, I got to Old Folsom. And anybody that knows the tattoo on my right arm, you ain't walking into a tattoo parlor going, hey, you got a picture of Old Folsom? And my mentor was Ellis Burham. He died in prison. He was 77 years old because I was
your prison
young.
mentor.
Yeah. And he never said any motivational thing. Everything was like, well, motherfucker, you in prison.
Right.
Literally. Like, man, these eggs are terrible. Well, motherfucker, you in prison. Like, he was... Because he was in there he was already in there like 40-some years, you know? And here's what I hated. When they yelled out, Guillermo Ilan, Mexicans went like this. Maybe he's Puerto Rican, muévete. Not with us. And blacks was like, cuz you a Mexican? I'm like, there's an X in there. It's not
right.
Mexican. The S is at the end. But because I'm from Roller 60s, obviously we know why I politicked.
Right.
How I had the program.
Was that as simple as you're making it sound, to be a non-black Crip in jail in LA?
Unless you're trying to do it while you're there in jail. But I went in being known as, that's Cass from 60s.
Right.
You know what I mean? It don't take long for me to go, oh shit, there's Elmo from 40s. There's Swanee. There's, you know what I mean? There's Wendy. It did not take long. So no, but again, if you're trying to make something happen there, good luck. So, and usually, it might be If you're black, you might go be a Muslim or you might be a Christian. But if you are reputable on the block and you're trying to move away from it, you go become a Muslim or a Christian.
Right.
But if you're going to program, what I always hated, though, was the race bullshit.
Right.
You know, the new single I have, Real One in the Sky, the Nipsey Hussle tribute, I say, black, white, and brown, we all from the same town, neighbors. I heard Dr. Crap. I can't remember his name, but he said, blacks are so quick to talk about the crab bucket mentality. You know, you get in, trying to pull up, somebody else is pulling your leg. And Dick Gregory, the comedian, and amazing, may rest in peace. And he said, well, who put you in the bucket? Because usually we're, you know what I mean? And for blacks and Latinos to still to this day have issue, I would rather see blacks and Latinos get along before I ever met Jesus Christ if he existed, or UFOs. Because you're talking about two races that came from absolutely nothing. You know what I mean? It disgusts me, the fact that it's still that underlying hatred. And in prison, it's 1,000,000 times worse.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So white people don't really matter, but the Mexicans and the blacks are completely against each other?
Well, it's programmed that way.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's still, you got issues with a wood, you got issues with a wood.
Right.
But I'm half white, so when I'm going to start hating the woman who, you know, gave me birth?
Did you make it through that bid relatively unscathed? Nothing too...
I had 2 fights.
2 fights.
Two fights. I had a dude from Grape Street that I was in a dorm, and we had these bunker things, and cat was breaking into them. And I went into prison 165 pounds. And, hey, man, could you? And I watched him pull that cuete in his. I was like, what the fuck am I going to do with that? And he was like, nigga, I'll stab your red ass. I was like, well, I thought I was kind of tan, but all right. See, you had that corniness where your logic is like, really, red? Are you sure? You know? And I remember my homeboy Elmore Forche was like, you know, you got to fight this nigga. And, I went and got a cuete, and Ellis Burham heard about it, and he says, I heard you. He's like, yeah, man, this motherfucker ignorant. He goes, you're ignorant. I'm like, because I'm rolling 60. What do you mean I'm ignorant? He goes, what he's doing is normal to him. The moment you amuse it, you become part of his circus. I still got to go fight him, though.
Right.
But at that moment, I started learning how to program, because I didn't know how to program. And, you know, I got stabbed in my back. He stabbed me in my back and my tricep, and I got hit in the head with a soda can and a sock.
Wow.
But he could have killed me.
Right.
Because he couldn't take the fade. 165 pounds, I wore his bitch ass out. So while I'm on top of him, you know, they did what they did.
So you got jumped while you were...
Yeah.
Really?
And it was just me and Fauché. That was my bunkie.
Because you were about to win.
I was winning. He was night. It was, you know, and you feel like you're getting punched when you get stabbed. And that's, you know, what I thought it was.
Right.
And then I went out, you know, and luckily you always fought by the church. It was always the safest place. Always. Go by the chaplain, you know, he would break it up, you know. You don't fight on the yard. You know what I mean? But
because they'll get broken up too fast.
or you'll get shot. You know. And then the other fight was a quick one with just a cat that we just had some words in the kitchen. And
so what was the game plan when you got out? And did that scare you straight, or did it take more? No, not even close?
Hell no.
Would you say you're straight now?
Oh, I'm 100%. I'm a nerd now. Okay. I'm as L7 as they come.
But what had to happen in between the prison sentence and now?
I'm learning this vlog thing. I did a vlog yesterday driving down here, and I said, Thunderdome was the #2 biggest independent album in the country. #1 was Cash Money. This is in 2000. And people were still like, who's Cass? And it was the #2 highest selling independent album. I was distributed by Sony Relativity, and I was flat broke. I was under the mentality that I could always just go back to selling dope. So when I tried the music thing, I'm like, wait, so what happens? I don't get the rest of my money? Or, you know, the story of me having MC Search from third base beat up, and that's a true story. I don't need to twist that. It's not dry snitching. He owed me 13 grand. My deal was with MC Search.
Search signed you?
Oh yeah, that was my first deal.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And why'd you get him beat up?
He owed me money.
Just regular music industry shit?
He
or-
owed me the balance of my advance because it was quick. They gave me $100,000 to do the album. I did the whole album in 10 days.
Right.
With all those names I mentioned. Well, give me the rest of my money. And I ended up catching another assault case, going to jail. Big Reg bails me out. I'm supposed to be in Miami to accept that me and J.O. Felony had a single called Pop Up. It was #1 at Power 106. It was beaming up in New York. New York was playing it. Red Alert was playing it. Big Cap was playing it. And I go and catch a case. And I go...
The case you're talking about?
No, a whole nother case.
A whole different
Yeah,
one.
a whole nother case. We're in 2000 now.
Oh, okay.
And I got out in 98. And I get to Miami. And he's telling me, nah, record flopped. And I'm like, you couldn't go down Crenshaw. I wouldn't give a fuck if you was Ice Cube. I took my posters and re-plastered them. Remember sniping? And I sniped, had a homies re-sniping. And what do you mean it's? Well, I was signed to the same cat that Trick Daddy was signed to. When he had that song, You Don't Know Nah.
All right, but who is he signed to?
The name of the company was Warlock Records. He is the son of the guy who ripped off Frankie Lyman.
Okay.
The name escapes me. Adam Levy and Morris Levy.
Okay.
Frankie Lyman was signed to Morris. Morris would stick his name on there. His son didn't. The fruit didn't. The dirtbag piece of shit didn't fall from the tree.
Right.
Wouldn't give you your recruitment. So I took it out on search. And he was outside of Justin's in New York. I got the call. And I said, and the money was in my account the next day. Where the turn was, I was back to doing the same. Street, facilitating women, blah, blah, blah. And I remember being in Arizona on a travel pass, and there was no show there. And I got pulled over, and it was a detective. No, I'm sorry. There was an ATF agent that pulled me. I'm backing out. Intelligent me, I want to go to a gun show. I didn't have no rights then. And I'm backing out, and a regular cop pulls over, and I'm like, the girl I'm with, I'm like, just roll, I'm on a travel pass. We have a show out here. You have to carry an itinerary with you. And I said, hey, do you mind if I pulled you over? When he said this, Adam, I bullshit you not, my testicles went, fuck this, and just went back inside. He said, oh, I'm not here for you. You got to wait for ATF. Think it echoed. I'm almost sure it did when he said ATF. And I just went, holy shit. He pulled me out the car, interrogated her, interrogated me, found the gun that I bought for her. And he said, I just went on through your paperwork. You're a known, this is around 2006, 2007. He says, you're in 2006. He goes, you're pretty well known, guys, and I typed in your name. He goes, you got a hell of a rap record, but you're a rapper. And he says, I could fuck your whole world up right now. So here's what I'm going to do. What's your parole officer's name? Sepulveda. You better be in Antelope Valley in Lancaster, California by Monday. Give him my card. I want him to call me. And I'm going to tell him it's all good. It was just a mistake. But you better be there. And at that time, I was like, okay. And I was done.